Oh my goodness. It's that time, right? I can do the thing. It's that, yeah, right? I can hit the button. It's one of these. I think it's this one. It's usually this one. Here we go. Yeah. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is July 1st, 2025. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How are you doing out there, chat room? Let me bring them on. They're right over here. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. We'll say hello to some of our friends that are out here. The VV3K4I. How you doing there? Hello. C Sharp Titan. Good evening to you in Melbourne, Australia. And Lucy Llewellyn. Hello, hello. Yep, you got the hat. It's my wild Kiwi hat. There you go. PowerShell Freak. Look at that.
PowerShell_Freak just resubscribed for 65 months.
65
Going
months.
to watch your user group session.
Oh, yeah. And C Sharp Titan with 10 months.
Sharp Titan just resubscribed for 10 months.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to learn from you, Jeff.
Oh, thank you. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Yeah, thank you so much. Which user group video is it? Is that the one from the Tulsa one, I think? Patty boy, how you doing there? Hello. Let me see here. Let me catch up. Mythin, hello, hello. So I do have Charlie running in the background so that we can capture and record and present questions. The Q&A that'll pop up on the lower third will automatically get loaded over into the Discord so that folks can pick up, follow up, catch up on some of the stuff. You like the hat? I do like this one too. This was a gift from Junie Von Esch. So very cool. Send it over to the PO box. You can find information about the PO box just below if you want to send me something. I haven't been over there in a couple weeks. I need to get over there and clean it out. I'm sure there's all kinds of things sitting there waiting for me. PC Nerd, how you doing there? It is cool. I like the embroidery. This is embroidered on the brim. It's kind of tricky to do, but folks get that done. So, let's see. So I do have the map is filling up over here that you can. I don't have it really shared anywhere out there, but I feel like I should put it somewhere so that it's being updated. It's on the Discord, and you can see it also instead of waiting for me to put it up on screen. I'm enjoying a nice cup of mocha this morning. Yeah, so here I can go over and we can see the map as it builds out here. We got a couple folks that shared their locations. We see C Sharp Titan down there in Melbourne. We see Patty Boy up in Glasgow. Thank you so much for sharing locations, putting them on the map. Always fun to do that. Oh, we have a hype train going on right now on Twitch. Halfway there, 2.5 minutes to finish level 1. So I've been working on a couple things over the weekend, the past few days. You might notice I have a new headset. I got a new headset. This is another Audio-Technica headset, but it doesn't have the microphone. I haven't used the microphone in more than a year. So the leather on the headband and in the ear cups was starting to dry up and peel, and it wasn't feeling great anymore. So great new headset that's really doing a nice job keeping the sound isolated as I talk to you. What else? So I did we're getting ready for the 2 workshops that we're going to be teaching later in July. These are going to be on 18th and the 25th. July 18th, we're going to be talking about and teaching how you can add AI features into your .NET applications. It's a full day workshop. We're going to be teaching. I'm going to be using the other set, and we're going to go through, as always, you've seen these. I do full Q&A interaction. All the source code is made available to you so you can participate and learn. And then the 25th, we're going to do a full day talking about .NET Aspire. there are sponsors that are helping out getting the message out about these. There are already thousands of people that have signed up and registered for to learn more information about it, to get emails. Love seeing that participation. There will be prizes that we're going to give away that day. A bunch of Amazon gift cards that'll be raffled off at the end of both events. We've got, and in addition to that, I went out and got some new hardware. Now, if you saw my last couple workshops, I tried to use a handful of different wireless mics. I got another new set of wireless mics. They're from Neewer, and these are the CM28 Max. I tried using these yesterday, and they are really good. They've been really good. So it's a wireless mic with and here you can see it's a charging case. So there's a transmitter in the middle, and then there are two. There's a receiver in the middle that you hook up to your PC. I'll hook it up to my mixing board. And then there are two transmitters. These are the actual microphones on the outside. Check these out. I was, like I said, I was tinkering with these. I really like them. So there's a microphone on the top, but there's also a port there that you can plug in a microphone. So I have a lapel mic that I can plug in there. It's got a clip on the back, and it's got a magnet. So if you're wearing a shirt or something that isn't very good for clipping onto, you can just magnet it to you. Or like I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in my pocket, and I have a lapel mic that I'll plug in, and it'll wirelessly connect back to my receiver that'll be here on my mixing board. So that's what I've got set up, and I'm really looking forward to. And we'll run a couple tests, both excuse me, both on stream here and as in Discord and a couple other places as I'm getting ready for the 18th. It's important to me that Charlie works with the question Q&A isolation, because that's also creating clips from those questions that I answer live on stream. Love seeing that. Love working with that, because it's going to help generate more YouTube videos a lot quicker, easier. So, PC Nerd says, as much as I love my headset, I miss the days of Plantronics. Who was it? Plantronics merged with someone, and I forget. They were acquired by somebody. They were merged. Yeah, they were acquired by HP, and that's why it's kind of disappeared. Yeah, they merged with Poly, and then HP acquired. Yeah, Plantronics and Polycom merged, and then Hewlett Packard bought them. And when was that? Because I was doing a bunch of device testing and interaction with the folks at Plantronics, and then they were acquired, and whoop, that didn't happen anymore. Yeah, 2022 they were acquired by HP. So, bummer. They did have some great headsets. They did. Oh my gosh, loved using the Plantronics headsets with the low profile boom microphone that you could make sure it was right in front of your mouth and it wasn't taking up space. And typically also they had the clear boom microphones, so that even if you were looking at somebody, it didn't really, you saw right through the clear microphone. It was great. So, yeah, big fan of what they used to do, but HP acquired them, and poof, poof, then it is no more. So, NASA used Plantronics headsets. Did they? Now that's a factoid that I would love to verify. NASA and Plantronics headsets. The Plantronics of today credits its collaboration with NASA. Yeah. Wow. NASA uses Plantronics headsets for the space shuttle in 1980 to 1986. Very cool. Hey, Mitch Denny, how you doing there? You got a Plantronics headset as a speaker gift from a tech conference after like 5 years stopped working. Their support was phenomenal to watch and interact with. Always, no questions asked. Hey, send us the broken one, we'll send you a new one, and really, really good stuff. I worked for a consulting company when I first graduated college in 1999, and they placed me at it was I forget, it was a company that had a call floor. So there were a bunch of folks answering phones in this cube farm, just a couple hundred people literally in little desks answering the phones. And while I was working there, I was helping with a help desk and I was writing software. And they issued me, because everybody who worked there, they issued me a Plantronics headset that I could plug into my phone, and I could easily switch from the handheld receiver over to the headset. Kids, this was back in the day when we didn't have mobile phones. And you had, if you wanted a headset to answer the office phone, you had to plug something in there. And we didn't have Teams or Link or any of those things, or Zoom. So it was really cool having that custom headset from Plantronics that I was able to use. And I carried that everywhere after I left that. They let me keep it. And I literally carried that from job to job to job. I was even working for a .com in 2010. And I was using that headset at my desk as the lead developer on the .com. I'd be on conference calls and meetings, and here I am with my Plantronics headset, the really cool headset. It was I really appreciate my time with those companies. So how you doing there? The Code Man. What do I say about events happening between the two .NET famous guys out there? What do you mean, what events? Huh? Tell me more. Help me out there. So we've got workshops coming up. We've been working on SharpSite, our content management system. I see there's a pull request out there. Somebody wrote a little pull request to help package the plugins. We need to finish the plugins capability for security. There we go. I saw the Code Man. Your location popped up on the map here. I'll go to the map. So when folks tell us where they're located, drop a pin on the map here. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. What? Oh, jeez. There you go. Dunkerrath. Yeah, we'll plot that. In France. And PowerShell Freak in Germany. You see that we got a little hat marker in there. And so the rainbow ones are Twitch subscribers. Purple is just somebody on another viewer on Twitch, and the red is folks on YouTube. Nick in Milan on sponsored videos. Oh, I will be happy to talk about that. Give me 1 second here. Because I think I'm in a fine position to respond to a little bit of what they're talking about there. I'm going to go to the Stream Beats Synthwave playlist here just to put some groovy tunes in the background as we're talking and writing code together. I'm going to start. Let me start here. This is called Protocol. You'll see the song title up here just above me there. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Listen to it wherever you'd like. There it is, right up there. All kinds of genres are available. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for this music we're listening to today. Billy Cool, you're in Melbourne also? Fantastic. PC Nerd, just say hello and where you're watching from. Hello from, good morning, good afternoon from, and some location. You can specify a country, you can specify a city, you can specify a point of interest, like hello from Disney World, and it will identify and plot that on the map. There you go. Hey, Napalm, hello. We got Mitch, you're in Melbourne also. We got a handful of folks in Melbourne, and I need to get the clustering logic working here. So the Welsh Cabogan, look at that in Wales. We got a plot from over there. You're melting in Kent. Oh my goodness. So I think I need to let this take screenshots or make this interactive so that folks can click into it from the Discord so that you can interact with it and click around a little bit. Hello, Lucy in Hampshire, UK. I don't think it picked that up. No. It wasn't able to identify that one. You say it with a British H, that's okay. So Napalm in Pittsburgh, that's why we got the little sword out there. Our moderators show up with a sword. Fantastic. So Shazlin, my goodness, you're out there, but because I need to get clustering working a little bit here. So there you go. You helped out the bot a little bit, and our European friends showing up there. Thank you. So there's clearly a couple things here that I want to tune and tweak, and quite frankly, I want to try and sneak this into .NET Conf. I think the map would be a lot of fun to use during .NET Conf when folks are sharing, hey, I'm watching from, hey, we've got a group of friends that are all tuned in from, and be able to show that. We've got 3 people that are all reporting there in Melbourne, and we can't really see it down here because they're all clustered.
For
Lucy,
months.
23 months with us.
It worked this time.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you so much for the resub. Bringing that Prime subscription. Acrophobic Pixie, hello to you. You need to put some sort of a greeting. Just putting the name of a location won't actually plot it. So some sort of a greeting. Red Dwayne, there you go, saying Vienna. We'll plot that. You could get more accurate, but it would give away your secret lair. And that's and Mitch, that's why it's limited to whatever you would like to share. If you'd like to share, hey, I'm in Australia, cool. No questions asked. So, have a hat and then an arrow to point, maybe. Yep, I do appreciate all our friends that are in Europe watching today. Phenomenal. So, and we've got a couple friends watching in Australia. There we go. We got 2 folks. There you go, Acrophobic Pixie. And the other thing is, this is just for my testing, the information that you see down in this area. But I don't actually list who's at each location on the map. So, very cool. Always fun to have folks share and participate with this. So, and there was a suggestion that maybe we could use the map later after stream to do some data analysis. You know, hey, we've got a lot of folks watching from Europe. When I go to consider speaking at conferences, let's go to Europe. We've got a handful of folks watching from Melbourne. If I'm going to go to Australia, I should stop by Melbourne, and there's probably going to be some interest there. Watching from your office in London. Did it plot? Yep. Well, maybe it didn't. No. That, it didn't plot that one accurately. So just try saying watching from London and it'll come through better. So Sir Mod there saying just hello from Australia, and it just plots in the middle of Australia. There you go. Is the map code available on GitHub? No. I am not sharing this source code yet, but I will have it added to TagZap before .NET Conf in November. This is Leaflet, and all that it's doing is watching what folks say. It's watching for a pattern in your message, and it grabs the location off of that and posts it up here. How does it tell the difference between places of similar names like Paris, Texas versus Paris, France? It makes an assumption based on the size of those locations. So if you were to say hello from Paris, it's going to assume France, not Texas. So, there you go. Watching from London in the UK. There we go. There we go. We got you on the map there. Hey, CTI Geek. Hello. Rockford, Illinois. I think we got that one plotted. Rock Cut State Park, did it? Yep. Oh, yeah. So. And is that Yoni Torrado in Portugal? There we go. I'll be in Portugal in October. How you doing there, Phil? Any chance of open sourcing that? The map widget and the functionality that hooks up to chat, I will be putting into TagZap, and it will be available later. I don't want to make the mistake of open sourcing some of the widgets and things that I'm building for Charlie now before I get it fully launched and integrated and kind of create a little bit of competitive advantage and unique interaction with my stream before other folks latch on. The copycat nature on the live streams is a lot. There was a question I want to make sure that I go to here, and I am absolutely going to grab this. Let's start here. What do I say about the events that have been happening between and specifically referencing Nick and Milan? So I'll leave the map up here while we're talking about this. So these two fellas, they're very well known for they're not streamers, they're YouTubers, right? They create content about .NET languages, frameworks, tools, and post that content on YouTube, and they'll say and do things to get folks' attention, right? The currency on YouTube that YouTube broadcasters, YouTube video creators go for is they've got to get people's attention. So you will see YouTube content creators create thumbnails with really large text on them to create kind of a pseudo title on the thumbnail that you're going to read before the actual title of the video underneath the thumbnail. They really want to get folks' attention. And because the more folks that watch your videos, the more advertisements that run, the more you get paid. When content creators, and I'm going to include live streamers in this also, me being one of them, when you have enough viewers of your content, different companies, different businesses will approach you. Hey, I'd like to run an advertisement. I'd like to sponsor a segment because you get a lot of folks watching, and I want to take advantage of that and share my product, and I'll give you a kickback, I'll give you some pay, whatever. I'm going to snooze the ads here. And what you're seeing is there are folks that are trying to artificially inflate their numbers so that they can get more sponsors, they can get more companies coming through and wanting to pay them to be part of their video content. We're also seeing this on Twitch, where, quite frankly, the rapper Ray J has come right out and admitted to view botting. Now, he's such a big name that Twitch isn't penalizing him yet. But openly view botting, that's the practice of paying a service to have artificial viewers watching your stream. That is, yes, it is no integrity. Completely agree. It is, it breaks the advertiser model for the streaming service and for the recorded video service on YouTube. So what do? It's those sponsors are not getting what they paid for. They wanted, X number of hundreds, thousands of eyeballs that are going to see their content that are potential customers. And if a couple 100,000 of those folks, in the case of Ray J, are bogus, they're fake, they're wrong, well, he's getting paid for advertising that didn't go to the audience that it actually went to. And that's the complaint that Nick has. And this is something that YouTubers can do, and some of them have exploited. You can buy promotion and in various regions. So if you publish a video on YouTube, you can pay YouTube to insert your video in front of or on the play next screens or at the top of the list next to other YouTube videos. Nick says that he does this in certain regions where he believes he's got some qualified leads, an interested audience. He's also complaining that Milan does this all over the place. And he's trying to do that because and Nick is asserting that Milan has sponsors that are paying for a certain audience size, and Milan's, according to Nick, not able to deliver. Okay. I don't know if that's true or not. There are also other folks out there in the Twitterverse that are saying it's money for money's sake. You're right, Invader Jim. There are other folks out there that are also saying that there are people. Ed Anderson has been quite vocal about this. That there are other folks in the .net space that have been buying viewers and buying and spending a lot of money on promotion. I kind of agree that paying for buying promotion, getting more to get more viewers is there's an integrity thing there. Yes. I'm not suggesting that every viewer needs to be organic that comes through and tunes in and watches video content or a live stream. But I'm not going to pay for viewers. I'm not going to go out there and spend a lot of money to promote. I will collaborate with organizations that they themselves will promote me and my content. So for these workshops that we have coming up, I'm presenting content. I've got some really great content. Those organizations want to get their products and things in front of our audience. In exchange for running some of those ads and things that they would like to share, I'm getting information about those workshops sent out on all of their mailing lists. So I'm not getting folks out there promoting and putting videos right in front of you, but I am getting that word of mouth go around. Hey, there's a workshop coming up that you might be interested in tuning into. So that's where I see a little bit of a difference. Right? There's the streamer themselves paying for advertising or buying viewers that has an integrity issue. But when streamers, YouTubers, content creators can get their content onto mailing lists or onto the front page of Reddit or into the front page of Hacker News, and folks click through and discover that, that's pretty cool. If you have a video, a clip or something that goes onto social media, it goes on to to Twitter, goes on to Instagram, goes on to Blue Sky, and a lot of folks click through and watch that and go and find you, that's pretty cool. That's that word of mouth. And if I can get more folks creating that word of mouth, fantastic. I will take it. I will run with that. And if you out there tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets, as I joke, and they come through and watch, fantastic. I do think there is an integrity thing when you buy viewers. That I find I have an integrity problem with. Paying for promotion, I don't have as much of an integrity issue with. It's still borderline for me. When you buy promotion of your content on YouTube, that it's in the rules. You're allowed to do that. Hey, Smirking Squiggly, thank you so much.
Smirking_Squiggly just resubscribed for 27 months. 27 months of coding chaos.
Yes.
And C#.
Yes. Thank you so much. So to finish, the paid promotion of videos, the purchasing of viewers, I have a problem. I have a real problem with. That is clearly against the rules. But paid promotion of videos is borderline. And I appreciate what Nick is calling out, that buying viewers is wrong, and it skews the entire community in a bad way. It changes the economics of working in content creation in the community, and it artificially creates an increased number of viewers or participants in that content community, in our case the .NET community. If all of a sudden there's 3 million people that tune in to watch a certain YouTube video about .NET, is that really 3 million people in the .NET community? Or is it 50,000 people in the .NET community and 2.95 million bought viewers? That's skewing the size and the data that we have about that content community, and that's what I don't like. So, big thanks for the question. Happy to talk about that and go through that here on stream. Marcus with a question: have I submitted a PR for GitHub or VS Code Copilot yet? No, I don't have any pull requests that I've sent to them about Copilot. I've talked to them. I've worked with them. I've sent them bug reports. I sent them the report that we were seeing about Copilot when you have autosave turned on in Visual Studio Code, gets lost when it goes to save files. It runs into a file locking issue. I've sent that information to them. I've opened that issue, and quite frankly, they closed it because they're like, we can't recreate this. I sent them clips of videos from this stream, and they ignored those as well. Like, whatever. We don't see this problem on our stuff. Okay. A lot of folks that I talk to who have autosave turned on have that issue, but I don't see it as much anymore. But I have sent them reports. So, continuing here, Patty Boy asks, do we want to add an advertising plugin to SharpSite? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I think that's a fantastic plugin to want to add, so that you can put up your Google advertising. You can put in your advertising from other ad networks. I think that makes a lot of sense to be able to add to SharpSite. Because, right, the thing is, and there are people who argued with me on this on Twitter, and I think they're patently wrong. When you create content and you publish it on the internet, that is a very privileged action. Somebody's paying for where that content is going to go. Ads have kicked in here on Twitch. Not only is somebody paying for where that content is going to go, they're paying for the bandwidth, they're paying for any promotion that goes on around that. But the time that it takes to write that content and invest and give that away potentially for free is a lot of work. And that is a very privileged interaction. I'm fortunate that I have an employer that pays my salary and supports that I do live streams like this. But other folks that are just creating a blog and saving things out there for anybody to read, if there's enough bandwidth coming through and hitting their website, somebody's got to pay for it. And they'll run advertisements to help pay for bigger machines, more bandwidth to be able to deliver that content. So creating an advertising plugin, I think, is an eventual need for that website. Thanks so much for the question. It's just now it's open source. That's right. Copilot is now open source. Yeah. It's really cool to see that. And I think we're going to see Copilot grow and get adopted by various editors and things that the Copilot team didn't initially anticipate. And that is great to see. I think there's lots of opportunity there. I think that there's other kind of unspoken things that have happened where Copilot is now part of the base package for Visual Studio Code. And that means that when you install, right, the Codium, the just the open source version of Visual Studio Code, you get Copilot. So that's kind of a thing that is going to roll out there to all the places where folks have taken Visual Studio Code and adapted it and put their own things into it. Ritter Rasmus. I want to learn more about certs like Microsoft people keep talking about using for auth between services and such. Okay. As someone who's a little apprehensive about certificates, how would you recommend I get started learning about it? Certificates and those security topics are really tricky. It's something that very much folks are chasing, because as we get better at delivering, managing, rotating certificates between our services, the bad guys, the folks that are trying to break through and access services and do man-in-the-middle types of attacks are they're going to try to emulate, mimic, and intercept traffic between those certificates. So traffic between those services that are using a certificate. I learned Microsoft Com has a great security section that'll give you some of the basics of getting started there. There are other places that you can go online to learn about cybersecurity. I think Harvard has a couple of online courses that are free for anybody to take to get started. I'm not going to endorse going to a college to learn about something that's bleeding edge like this, because I think there's a gap in time between when colleges, universities establish their curriculum and when that technology is actually presented in the classroom. And it's usually about a year to 18 months. So you're going to do better finding some of those locations online that are keeping up and talking about the latest things. Look up OWASP, OWASP online. They have information about securing websites and different things. They have some good learning material you can take a look at on their website. Let me wrap that up. How you doing there, Akil? Good to see you. Let me see. Patty Boy says, I'm okay with advertising, but not when the page contains more adverts than content. Amen, Patty Boy. Totally agree. When you go to the CNN website right now, the top 40% of the website starts off with a big advertisement. and it's hard to scroll away and get rid of that. That's difficult. I don't mind dropping 2-minute advertisements in the middle of the content here so that it helps pay for the video broadcast, helps pay for other things that are going on. So those kind of ambient advertisements I'm okay with because it's easy to look past them at the real content that we want. CGDHS says ads that cover the content and have a minimal close icon. Yeah, that is so frustrating. And those folks are creating the demand, the need for folks to be able to block advertising. And that's kind of defeats the whole purpose of what you're trying to accomplish. 2 things that cause the most downtime: DNS and expired certs. Yeah. Getting certificates rotating programmatically for somebody who's in operations and managing a large series of services is like gold. It's really going to help you. Hey, McNets, I don't think it picked... Oh, no, it did. It did. There you go. Continuing. It's not always fun being interrupted and trying to find the skip button by voice. Oh, yeah, I get it. Ads that ask you to rotate your device. Right, my gosh, Patty Boy. Yes, right? Those ads that say, hey, rotate your device so that you can see this whole thing, and you're not getting past us until you rotate and watch our advertisement. Oh, man. YouTube's ads have become so bad you use Chromium with ad blocks. Yes. Yeah. That's frustrating. Like, I do pay for the, what is it, YouTube Plus? Like, it's $10 a month and it turns off all the ads on YouTube. Like, I'm fine with that. Go ahead. Turn them all off. That gets me into the content faster, better. So, you feel bad about the ad block for the smaller creators? Yeah, right. And that kind of goes a little bit towards what Nick was saying about when you have people faking out how many viewers they have. It skews things like ad pay. It skews what content advertisers will pay for. It gets some of the ads. It doesn't get all the ads. Like the inline video ads, I don't think it can get rid of them, but the overlay ads, I think that gets rid of it. There are people who run ad block for Twitch to try and get rid of the ads on Twitch. I don't think that gets rid of them also. So, Nalian pays for YouTube Premium. Yeah. You think of YouTube as a learning platform? I can definitely see that. I can absolutely buy. I have YouTube on all the televisions in my house and all of my devices. I watch a lot of YouTube content. So, yeah, I don't mind paying the $10 a month and turning off the advertisement. Subs do get rid of the ads on Twitch. Yeah. Hey there, Urban Blaster. Good to see you. Ad blocker used to work on Twitch, not anymore. Yeah. The volume of drive space and network that YouTube uses is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Somebody's got to pay for that stuff. Slateboard got YouTube premium as a result of subscription paying for YouTube Music. Yeah, there you go. Sure. You used to watch a lot of YouTube on the Roku. Skipping ads was infuriating. So if you're signed in with your YouTube Premium on your Roku device, on your Xbox, I have it on my smart TVs, it'll jump right past the ads. So, you would prefer to have an advert at the start or end of a video? The advertisements at the end of the video, folks can skip by just navigating away. Advertisements at the start of the video, you can't really skip. So, the ambient advertisement that creators will do where they'll do a content read, or like you see me put on and mention my Gunnar glasses, I think those are low impact easy to kind of just skip by on the fast forward slider. But at the same time, they're a little bit more interactive, and they're a little bit more. I think they're not just valuable for the advertiser, but for you as the viewer, because you're seeing me, you're seeing other creators that are actually speaking towards and saying, yes, I use this thing. Check it out. I think it is going to get you, is going to be productive, is going to help you in your career, so on and so forth. So, like, Nick puts ambient ads in for his video streaming service, Dome Train. He's allowed to do that. He can talk on his video about, hey, if you want to see more videos like this, go check out my subscription service and buy a subscription and go watch more videos. Yeah. Null Ref Check, I've seen those. There are sometimes on YouTube that you'll get 30-minute, 60-minute advertisements, literally an entire television show as an advertisement before the little 5-minute YouTube video that you want to watch. Slateboard doesn't want to be non-supportive. I view regularly, but the way ads are these days, I can't tolerate. I agree. Some of the ads are very intrusive. And Twitch is doing, they're doing a lower third advertisement if you don't subscribe to a channel, where they'll reduce the size of the video and you'll see, it's like the lower 10% of the screen contains a banner ad. I appreciate that. I appreciate the banner ad. Because it doesn't interrupt the content. So, I did share this on Blue Sky a couple days ago. Most every month I apply to present and be included on Twitch's homepage, and I get denied every time. So I've submitted now 4 months in a row, and I've been declined every time. There's one other time that I submitted about 2 years ago. I was declined then also. But I'm going to continue pushing and seeing if we can get on the Twitch homepage and get more folks discovering, finding the content, and tuning in. Yeah, I like that idea. Cool. Basically like those late night, right? The late night. No, what the oh my gosh, it was a full hour advertisement. It wasn't infotainment. It was, what did we call them back in the like 90s, early 2000s? There were all kinds of them. There were even like a series where it had a host that was hosting what looked like a talk show, but it was an advertisement. Infomercials. There we go. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was. You don't see that as much anymore. Nah, not in interstitial. Shopping channel is something completely different. Shopping channel, you know you're tuning in for advertising. It's just you can buy the thing live as it's going on. And quite frankly, that's what Gunner wants me to do when I go on their channels. I haven't done it yet, but they've been quite clear that their marketing people literally want me to do infomercials on their channels. I'm like, that's not why people tune in to see me. Let me do a little bit of my content, and then I'll pause and talk about the glasses I'm wearing, swap glasses and show other ones, and do more of my content, and do another 4 or 5 minute, hey, let me talk about the glasses, and continue. So I'm working with them on that because I think I can bring something different to the Gunner folks. So it's certainly, thank you again to folks out there that have been using my coupon code. You see that just below. Gunner's a big supporter of the channel. They send me all kinds of glasses. I wear them here, talk about them. Big thanks to those folks and the support they've given the channel for years now. I've been working with Gunner since 2018. How you doing there, Joe Carrasco, watching on YouTube? Slateport, yeah, HSN, the Home Shopping Network, QVC, Shop NBC. I haven't seen Shop NBC in a long time. QVC very much is around still. Very much around. And gosh, QVC is owned by Comcast Corporation, which owns Universal Studios and NBC, and so QVC's got a lot of weight behind them. That would be better for them. The way I use the Gunners is a bit of a draw for the community, so sharing how they help. Yeah, you're right, Lucy. Yeah. So, a couple things that I want to do today. Miss Cleo, oh my gosh. Yes, Miss Cleo was a thing with the Psychic Friends Network. That was hysterical when she was on. Yeah, I'm going to call you on the phone, and you're going to read my future over the phone. What? Come on now. So I've got my Pinnacle glasses. They've come in a really cool bag like this that I'm going to put on here. I love these ones right now because they've got a nice light wire frame. Right there's my Gunner glasses, but they've got a little bit of a curve to them, right? And they're nice and wide. I like a wide lens on my glasses because it wraps around and I don't have as much light coming in from the side. The other thing it does, and that I love learning from Gunner, is it creates a little bit of a space here where it's keeping moisture, it's keeping humid air up against your eyes so that you don't have to blink as much and your eyes will stay moist. So, does Gunner make prescription lenses? They sure do. Yes, indeed. So I have a pair of the Razor Torpedoes. These are my non-prescription ones. But I have a pair of Razor Torpedoes. These are the wraparound glasses that you see me wearing sometimes. Heck, just put them on, Fritz. I have a pair of these ones that are prescription. And they wrap around real nice. They'll also do transition lenses. Not all of their frames have it, but they'll do transition lenses where when you go outside, they transition from the amber, the yellow, to full sunglasses. I wear those a lot. My prescription torpedoes, I'll wear those a lot on weekends, because I can go right from working on something on the computer, doing something inside, go outside, and cuts over to sunglasses. Really great stuff. They also will do the gradual bifocals on your glasses as well. So, let me see here. It's what Google does. It what reads your future over the phone. Man. There's something to be said about the search engines and how much they know about us, you know? Are the yellow lenses just for blue light filtering, asks King Clars. Yes. And the Gunner also makes a new set of lenses for creators that they call Crystal Clear that does the blue light filtering, and there's no color change in them. There's no color shift. So if you're doing graphic arts work and the yellow lenses are gonna completely mess with your chi, with the way that you're looking at and interpreting and doing your art, these crystal clear lenses do the blue light blocking, and you can still see through and see all the colors in the way that they're intended. That's really cool. I love seeing that. Progressive, that's what I was thinking, CTI Geek. Thank you. So those lenses are available. They're not available on all of their glasses because the way they manufacture the lenses, but those are available. And the paid promotion logo is popping up here on the stream because I have to mark that since I am compensated by Gunner when folks buy glasses. But all of the Gunner glasses that have been manufactured, that have been released before 60 days ago, you can get that 15% off coupon that I have for you down below on Twitch. So, all right. I think I'm ready to dive back in here. I've been doing a lot of work on my tag over the last few days. I really want to get my tag launched this month. Like, I am really close to this. The fun thing about my tag is it has one of the key features of my tag is an in-browser graphical designer. And I've been building this. And I've slowly been adding features to it. And it's looking really good. But I need the first pass of it to be functional, to be capable, to be accurate. And getting that growing and moving in the right direction has been phenomenal. So my tag should be launching later this month. And we'll see how that grows, what happens with that. But I've got a number of features for Charlie that I've been building, adding, growing. I'd like to take a look and dive back in on one or two things here, and particularly I want to do stuff like handle where'd it go? We did quotes. I think I want to do the bit redemption audio and video on screen and get that wired up so that if you want to play music, you want to play a sound effect, you'll be able to cheer a certain amount and it will take over and take precedence on stream. Now, there may be times that I turn that off when I have a guest on, but I want to get that built. And I'm bringing all of these features into the Charlie bot because in the long run, it's going to help me create content that you want to watch on other platforms. Hey, Code with Sean, how you doing there? I look familiar, really? Must be the beard. Recording was posted last night. You know what? Somebody mentioned that right off the top. Who was it? PowerShell Freak was saying they were looking forward to watching that video. So yes, that's something that I'm glad to hear folks are looking forward to. I had a lot of fun with that. If you want to share that link, Sean, go ahead and post that. And it was me talking about .NET Aspire, talking about Playwright, and showing and sharing how to bring those two pieces together. There's lots more that we're going to dial into that. And I'm quite frankly, I'm working on it a bit for work to see if we can make that a better experience for Aspire. C# Titan asks, are people using the Copilot That John website? Yes. Yes, they are, and the viewership is going up. I slowed down the number of articles that I was adding to it, mostly because I had other things that I was doing. So I would go and create a new article, let it generate, and then post it out there. But there's a couple hundred folks that are visiting and checking out the website. The number of tips that folks are watching, yeah, that's going up. The average person is watching. Is reading and going through about 6 tips on the website. So that's very cool to see. And it's growing. So I add new content to it all the time. And I'll probably add another article to it later today. So it's definitely growing. Thanks so much, Sean. Appreciate you sharing the link there. Yeah, folks, check that out. So who was it? Somebody mentioned this to me over the weekend, and I wasn't looking at. I didn't want to. I was unwinding. I was out camping, and I didn't want to go dig into it. The Stop Killing Games movement. Legality of publishers destroying video games they sold to customers. What does that mean? Like what? Against public, it's a new. The EU launched an initiative to introduce a law against publishers purposefully destroying video games they have already sold. What does that mean? Not a problem, Sean. What are they talking about on this? Stop killing games. Like, there are games that require network servers, that require other hardware, other features that manufacturers provide at the cost of a subscription. They're allowed to take those things offline at some point, particularly if the business goes out of business. Like, say they make a game and suddenly take it off the market and don't let anyone touch it. Yeah, that's their prerogative. That's right. They're allowed to do that. They might put up network servers to manage and provide the interactivity for some of those games, and they might go out of business. What are you going to do? Sue them because they ran out of money and can't afford to run that network server for you for free anymore so you can play the game? You're kicking a company when they're down. What are you going to do? Get a couple $100,000 out of a business that went bankrupt? Good luck. You're wasting everybody's time with that. Like, standalone games, I get it. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to knock those down. I'm on board with that. But, like, if Fortnite servers went offline, the current model of the Fortnite game, yeah, it would be dead. You wouldn't be able to play Fortnite anymore. The money that you put in to buy skins and emotes and whatnot inside the Fortnite store, yeah, you don't have access to that anymore. Unless their PvE version of the game is running. Sorry, we can't run the servers anymore, but you can still play the PvE. They want games to be functional even after end of life. Yeah, sorry. Games, software that has a strong network component need to be able to have an end of life. That's business. So, and if there are patents, if there are trademarks in those network servers, in those online capabilities, they're not going to make that available for free after the end of life. This is going to go nowhere when you think about games as business. I think this is a mistake. As a software developer, I'll give you a great example. I had to take ClipTalk offline and shut that off. Why? Because it was costing me more money to build that and run that than I was able to take in. And I wasn't going to be able to because Twitch started publishing and making their own service available. Should I be forced to open source and deliver ClipTalk so that people can continue to use it, even though I've said, you know what? No mas, I can't run this anymore, and I'm shutting it down. No. It's my business. It's my source code. I'm the one paying for it. I don't owe anybody anything. Yeah. I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that. The company who created Mighty Doom iOS app closed up shop and closed down the server. Yeah. If a company goes out of business, sorry. We have examples in other industries. When an automobile goes into production, they have to allow aftermarket parts. That's different. Allowing aftermarket features to be inserted into my product that I control the IP for, no. Not unless I built and declared and added a plugin model. No. A lot of arguments, I believe, are that at least some API should be documented for some of the more network-heavy stuff. No. They don't owe you anything. If you bought and got an opportunity to use that software for a minimum amount of time, I'm okay with saying there's a minimum amount of time you need to be able to support this. I'm okay with that. But they need to be able to declare bankruptcy and end of life of something. I bought Overwatch 1. That was a paid game. That's no longer available anywhere. Overwatch 2 is the only game that's out there, and it's free to play. Do I have a claim against Blizzard because I spent $50 on Overwatch, and I should be able to play Overwatch still? Same type thing. I was able to play it for 4 or 5 years at no additional cost. What does Microsoft do when products are at end of life? Does it still function? I know Microsoft turned off the activation servers for Office XP. So when Microsoft end of life's a product, they no longer you no longer can download additional patches. There's no longer additional work done on that software. There is a certain amount of time that you can still download the software for compatibility reasons, but eventually they take that offline. There are opportunities to buy extended support cycles where you are literally paying the software developers that are going to support you. And it is very expensive, but it is not part of the standard license that you get when you buy Office, Windows, Visual Studio. But it is prohibitively expensive to buy extended support cycles. It's discouraged, but it is out there for organizations that might need it. When Forza Horizon, the original multiplayer, was shut down, they released an update that allowed the game to work fine in single player forever. There you go. That makes sense. The Crew was shut down and Ubisoft said, nope, no one can play single. That sounds wrong to me, where single player mode was a thing. That sounds wrong to me, and I can get on board with. Weirdbeard Dev says a business needs to make money on its products, services, and if they can't, then they shut down and all those products and services disappear. Yes. Another good example. I bought, this is called a Cubelet. It's a little display. It's a little 2-inch wide display, right? A couple centimeters across for those of you that don't use, who use the metric system. And it's got a little micro USB and a big button in the back. This was a great little device that I had sitting here on my desk that would show me stock prices, that would show me, I had it wired up to show me the weather, to show me the number of viewers on Twitch. And the company that made these went out of business. And the servers that delivered the content that was displayed on here were shut off, effectively turning this into a piece of trash now. I can't use it to connect to anything. but the company went out of business. It's gone. So, specifically, the initiative seeks to prevent the remote disabling of video games by the publishers. Remote disabling of installed software that doesn't have a network component, I'm okay with that. With people saying, no, you can't disable. So take that even bigger. When you buy books from the Amazon Kindle store, they can take that off of your device. You bought a book, but they can take it off of your device. So, that I think is wrong, right? When we think about the larger software picture, yeah. Weirdbeard Dev says eventually games will eventually go away. Hey Eric, thank you for the resub.
Still in just resubscribed for 25 months.
Yeah, Weirdbeard Dev, eventually games will go away. Yeah. When was the last time you saw a Pac-Man arcade machine? Yeah. When was the last time you saw Paperboy on anything? That arcade game it's out there. But how do you get it? Where do you get it? You don't think that subscription or online games are concerned? Yeah, then the standalone things. Like, I would give you Super Mario Brothers 1. Nintendo shouldn't be able to shut off Super Mario Brothers 1 on my device. Okay, I'm on board with that. We have plenty of examples of games that are allowed to function with the multiplayer turned off. Yep. In some cases, publisher just didn't want you to play the old sports title anymore, not even by yourself. I think there's also a opening there for allowing peer-to-peer gaming when they want to shut off the network servers. Hey, sorry, we're not able to support the Fortnite server anymore. We're going to let you can still run peer-to-peer, and here's a Docker container that has the basics of the server so you can at least play with your friends. Okay, that's cool. McNett says the French government is saying they will move to Linux due to the end of support for Windows 10. Yeah, okay. You own a Nokia Windows phone and Microsoft should still support it. That's more than 15 years old. No. I defy you to try and get support for an iPhone that's that old. Or a Samsung Galaxy. Oh, there's a good one. You know some places that would have VMware instantly load a Win2K image when they would boot into Windows 10 due to the hardware only worked in Windows 2000 and paid for support of it at the time. That's weird. Like, come on now. But the French government saying they're going to move to Linux due to the end of support of Windows. You do realize that you're going to an operating system and environment that requires significantly more support, hands-on management, and deployment of updates more frequently that you're going to need to maintain. And, oh, by the way, you've got to retrain all of your employees. Like, changing from one operating system to another, whether it's Windows to Mac, Windows to Linux, Mac to Linux, Mac to Windows, there is a retraining that needs to happen. And there are pluses and minuses to each of them. Windows runs on just about every bit of hardware that's out there. Mac only runs on Apple hardware. Linux runs on just about every bit of hardware out there, but you will not get a paid support contract with a company that stands behind it with a legal guarantee that you can sue if there's a problem. So, like, governments that want to go to Linux, There's risk that comes with that because who are you going to get to support it? Microsoft did extend the Windows 10 deadline. That was extended. And it's now October 2026. So you can get extended support through October 26 for $30 a year. So you pay $30 and you're running Windows 10 and you will continue to get patches. Considering that they declared and they gave free upgrades to Windows 11, like, you've literally had 5 years to do the upgrade. Come on. So, I have a couple of arcade tokens here on my desk, and they're buried under all this junk that I have here. Like I have a Flynn's Arcade token here on my desk somewhere, and it's behind Stream Decks or something. Like, we know Diablo has a phone home feature in it, right? And if it's not able to phone home to do validation that you're not violating their copyright, like, I get it. That's a minimal server that they can still keep running out there to just handle that phone home. There's a risk we all accept when we choose to purchase any product service. Yes. And organizations do consider those risks when they make purchases. PDF is the only way. In the early days of MMOs, it used to be printed right on the box that they would support the game until at least a certain date. Yeah. First book that Amazon ever remotely removed from Kindles was 1984. I did know that. Yes, that is... The irony there is not lost. There's a difference between paying for a service and paying for a product. So that's where some folks are spinning that even when you do buy software, you're paying for a license to a service because they're providing updates for you for free for a fixed amount of time. So they'll call it then a service because you don't have rights to the source code of the software. You are installing it and you have that access to it and all of those updates, and that's what they call the service. So, is that fair? Is that legit? Well, if you're getting 2 years of updates for free instead of having to buy a new version every 3 months, 6 months, that's your trade-off, right? Like, you got to see both sides of this, from both the business and from the customer. When Valve decided not to run the servers for Team Fortress 2 anymore, they released the server and people run their own farms now. Yeah. All right, we're giving up business on that. We haven't sold any versions of this game in years. Release the servers, and then it creates a whole nother industry of folks running servers. But patents, copyrights in that software, you can't force me to release. Me, a business, you can't force them to release that. So, Chromebooks for France. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I think there are. Space Shot, I think you're right. There are some reasonable regulations. However, blanketly saying that nobody's allowed to do that is wrong. And when you try to get a government involved in doing that, particularly the EU, where they have blanketly enforced and put constraints on the software industry that for the entire world, because the EU can access the entire world, has quite frankly broken the internet with cookie disclaimers all over the place. When folks aren't using not all websites are using cookies for things that are nefarious. But having to put a whole series of disclaimers and explain, here's what I'm doing with things, and here's what this, when all you're trying to do is remember that they clicked a button or the sort order that they put something on screen. Give me a break. They have a lot of hardware that is not Win 11 compatible. So you're saying that they should be able to continue running hardware that is more than 10 years old? So, Gabriel on YouTube says, hardware not compatible, Win 11 upgrade does not work. Red Hat and professional Linux support will be the way. Prove it. Prove the Win 11 upgrade does not work. Oh, because the hardware is not compatible. Yes, I'll give you that, but you're going to need to upgrade hardware at some point. This is like saying, I still want to be able to drive my 1970s Pinto. That's a problem. Hey, Frank, hello. Still feels like we'd be forcing them to do something they don't want to do. Right. What gets you is that Windows 11 could still run with a lot of the unsupported hardware. Sad because I'm going to upgrade my hardware and software, even though my PC is still in good shape. So the boot sector lock that macOS has that prevents folks from right, it's not just the boot sector, right? There's also kernel locking that happens there. On macOS. And that makes the Apple devices more secure from folks being able to insert malware into kernel level capabilities. Windows wanting to do that, and that's wrong? That's the discussion that folks are having. It's okay, and this makes it more secure, but this other operating system over here, well, we can't do that because... So. Hey, Kiss My Pixels. Good to see you. A lot of the stop killing games discussion seems unreasonable or naive. Yes, that's Zarisky, I feel the same. I think there's conditions that we need to consider whenever we try to change the way that an industry has been doing business for the last 50 years. There are literally hundreds of thousands of companies that you're going to affect. The only difference is future live service games will need to be designed with an end-of-life build once support finally ends. I'm not picking that up here. I'm not picking that up here at all. We're in favor of publishers adding support for a game whenever they choose. And we're in favor of publishers ending support for a game whenever they choose. We are asking for is that they implement an end-of-life plan to modify or patch the game so that it can run on customer systems with no further support. I'm not 100% sold on that. Not 100%. You're working on web dev when the cookie law in the EU came into force. It was impossible to know how to do it. Yeah. GDPR doesn't require a cookie disclaimer for good cookies. Prove it. Because there are folks who in this chat will argue until they're blue in the face that they don't want a cookie for anything in their browser. And that you as an application developer on your website, you writing any content onto their browser is a violation of their trust for your website, and that they will report you to the EU. It's happened on this channel. So don't give me that. You have a 2-year-old Dell laptop with the latest BIOS that doesn't work with Fedora or Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Ubuntu and Windows works just fine. Yeah. Hardware will have incompatibilities with different software. That's just the way things are. Hardware advances, software advances. Software gets new additional requirements that old hardware doesn't have. That's progress and growth in technology. Hey, Robson Previato. Hello, good to see you. Is the Pinto the one that would explode in a flaming fireball? Yes. Yes. Apple can do that because they also sell the computer. No. It's a kernel level thing. It's not a hardware thing. Yep, people don't want any cookie. And then they get upset that your application doesn't support them. Nope. Nope. Sorry. You prefer the 70s Corvette. Nice. So. Yeah, it needs a disclaimer for any time you write content into their browser. Anytime you write content into their browser, there will be folks in the European Union who complain. There are states in this nation where I live that in order to browse the web and go to different websites, sometimes you have to key in your identification information, register with the state in order to be able to gain access to different websites. Now, a large percentage of them are adult content websites, but there are other sites that are also rolled into that as well. So you need to register and share with the government your network traffic. Is that a violation of privacy? Oh. You don't want cookies and accept that a site or service may not work. Yeah. But as the site provider, you need, right? You better declare that and put some sort of error handling around it that says, if you don't do this, this site isn't going to work for you. That's the price of admission. I need to be able to remember your state because this is an interactive website. If you don't want that, don't use my website. Most every game isn't shipped fully on physical medium. Totally. Totally. Laughin' Lulz? Hello. Welcome. Appreciate the follow. You can't log into a website without a session cookie or a URL query parameter. It's well established due to URL sharing habits that having a session token in the query string is insecure. Yeah. Yeah. And making a session cookie is a technical requirement. There are folks that will argue that with you. You might still not be able to play the game. You can't play the crew at all now. So this is an interactive online browsing platform site. Welcome to the online browsing platform. My name is Jeff. I'll be your host for interactive online browsing. So, moving on. So I wanted to dig in and do channel point redemptions. You try to hide cookies and everybody else. Yeah. Yeah. Folks disable JavaScript and wonder why applications, websites don't work. Yep. Many games don't have the business to be online in the first place, are broken and unplayable after the servers close. Yeah. And so, if there is a single player mode to a game, then yes, I agree it should be playable after servers go offline. You want to go after the parent company for not making that available? Go for it. But if they're out of business, what are you going to do? I wanted to... I don't know. I think cheer interactions aren't going to be great. I don't think that's going to be great to do right now. Yeah, you're not going to know how software was built. You're not. I don't want to do that one. I do want to work on SharpSight a little bit today, yes, because there is a pull request out there that I want to make sure that we go through. But the database stuff is just it's got me stalled. The AI is having a real hard time understanding it, and the amount of code that we need to migrate and figure out there is just ridiculous. It's not progressing productively for an online stream. I could do the subscriber alerts. There were also some things that folks wanted to see about locations. What's the database problem? So we're trying to update SharpSight so that you can swap in different database providers. The security screens and interactions that come as part of that need to be able to abstractly use and reference the security objects that are coming back. Use a view model for interacting with them. The way that ASP.NET Identity is built means that we at some point need to do a translation between that view model and the real database object that we're interacting with, particularly if we're storing security information in a database. If at some point we have a plugin that allows you to push your security objects into Entra or some other domain service, and I've lost track of what are good login services that provide that same level of capabilities as Entra. But I think OAuth, OpenID, these things should really be able to be used with SharpSight. But there's a whole nother configuration thing to happen there. So getting all of those things configured abstractly so we can swap them in and swap them out at runtime is a lot. So we're working through that. Ads start in 30 seconds here on Twitch. Ooh, take a look at that. Go ahead. There you go. You don't think anyone would want to play World of Warcraft solo? I played World of Warcraft for 5 years solo. So there's that. But games like The Crew should still be available, or games that have a solo mode. Yes, if games have a solo mode, I agree they should be available. Games that have some sort of phone home scenario, shutting that off when you go out of business, yeah, that's rough. That's not being good to your customers. Having an online login that identifies the user when identifying the user isn't necessary to provide functionality. No. I'm okay with that. If remembering features, remembering configuration, yeah, you want to do much more than remembering, adding and remembering preferences. Yeah, I'm going to ask you to log in. I'm going to set up and want you to identify. And if you don't want access to those customizations of my website, then you don't have to log in. No, not secure string. Ads are running for the next 45 seconds. Yep, the wild Kiwi hat. There you go. You like to play solo because you're doing it with your voice. I like to play World of Warcraft solo because I don't have the time to go and find a clan, a group, to go and do things. Consequently, I never played any of the raid bosses on World of Warcraft until I got so overpowered that I was able to go back and defeat the bosses by myself. Like going into the stockade, where you're supposed to go into the stockade at like level 10. I would wait and go into the stockade at like level 25 and just run through everything, because at that point I was powerful enough that I could do it myself. Took me twice as long to get to some of those things. Like I never fought Arthas in Northrend, because I never got powerful enough that I was able to solo him. So, and being able to pause the game is another thing. Yeah. Hey, Codebase Alpha, good to see you in Birmingham. I don't think it picked that one. Maybe it did. Yep. There it is. Yep. On the map. So. Let's. I'm going to move this. Mythin with a question about SharpSite. So basically, you want to have a way to reboot the startup pipeline so you can dynamically add and remove database providers. I don't need to. There is, when you start an ASP.NET website, it sets up dependency injection and builds and makes those providers available to you for the rest of the duration that the website is running. If the website restarts, it reloads, rebuilds, and makes those providers available. So you would need to restart the entire website to swap out different providers. We do something different in SharpSite. We have a plugin manager, and the plugin manager has its own series of service descriptors and service locator. So when you're working on a website, when you're working on a web page, you're working on functionality inside of SharpSite, you don't use the dependency injection that comes out of ASP.NET. You use the dependency injection that comes out of Plugin Manager, because when you install a different plugin, it will put that into the service, the list of services, and rebuild the service locator. And now everything is working with that new service instead of having to restart the entire application, because you're working with the plugin manager that knows all of those things. So you are, that's right, Nightmare Joker, you are able to swap that context at runtime because it's using a different service locator to deliver those things. So that's how we're working around that. And you can see that in the source code to SharpSite. That's all open source, and folks can dive in and take a look at that. Let me see. Is SharpSite the next evolution of .NET Nuke? No. SharpSite is intended to be a much easier, smaller content management system that our community built using Blazor, using standard .NET technologies. That's going to be as easy as there are 3 personas that are going to be able to use it, and the first one of those is a non-technical user. I want you to be able to take SharpSite off the shelf and say run this on this website, and it's good enough for you. And you can choose a theme to swap in there, and it just works. There's an intermediate level person that wants to be able to put in that is a web developer that wants to be able to put in custom HTML, custom CSS, and change the way that it appears and some of what it functions by installing custom plugins. Cool. And then there's the advanced users who want to be able to write their own plugins and completely customize the look, feel, and functionality of SharpSite. Those are the 3 personas we're trying to target. So that's right. It's going to be as easy as Lotus 1, 2, 3. Yep. You don't get what's not working with the abstractions and such. It's the capabilities that are hard coded for Microsoft Identity. They all need to be rewrapped with abstractions. SharpSite versus Liquid Glass. A Liquid Glass theme for SharpSite? Sure. I think we can all get behind that. That makes sense. That's easy to say. There's a theme. Go ahead and do it. Fabric theme? Sure. Go ahead, do it. Bootstrap theme capabilities? Sure. Go ahead, do it. How do we roll those out? How do we provide the different HTML that's needed for supporting those different themes? So that's a whole nother series of functionality that we need to discover and figure out and get dialed in there. All right. I'm going to move my dashboard over here. And I can keep an eye, glassify that, John. I like where you're going there. DGen1 has a pull request for us for SharpSite. Let's go take a look at that. Here it is right here. This is on the Fritz and Friends SharpSite repository out there. I'll share the link to the repository. This is pull request 338. And DGen1 says decided to try a little vibe coding and resolve number 166. We need a plugin packager tool. So in case you weren't here and saw and learned about how we build plugins for SharpSite are .NET based DLLs that get zipped together, and there's a manifest inside of it, as well as a different file extension. So, is that a misspelled version of vibe coding? No. Might need to be updated when new plugin features are added, but at least we have a start. Fantastic. Tried packing and adding the sample plugins. Everything seemed to work. Terrific. 7 files here. We can click through and take a look-see. So added a project to the solution, the plugin packer. Might want to call it plugin packager, but so we have an argument parser that parses arguments. There's an input and output argument. Okay. That sets up and returns a tuple. Manifest handler that's going to load or create a manifest from an input path and look for manifest JSON. That's a standard name that we have in the format that we're requiring. And the ability to create one interactively. That's cool. The idea here being, and I like this, you know how you can do npm init and it walks you through a series of questions to interactively set up your package JSON file. Terrific. And prompt for manifest. Okay. Serialize the manifest. Write out the text to the manifest path location. All right. Otherwise, if we do have a location, go read the manifest. Make sure it deserializes properly. Cool. Here's the manifest prompter. So when there's a prompt required, we're going to have a label, and we're going to read some content. Nice. I like how you broke this up so that this becomes very readable. Very cool. Prompt required, ID, display name, description, version, published, and then a date format, supported versions, author, contact email, author website. All makes great sense to me. And then some of those optional fields that we have. Cool. I feel like we could put an optional flag on here and just comment this part, or have it do that check if required and string is null or white space. But I get it. Features, comma, separated. Dun, 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 dun. The features that it supports. Yep. This is going to be interesting. Let it have default values. That's a great idea as well. But as something to get us started here, on board with that also. Yep. And then to actually package the plugin, load the manifest. Attempt build directory. Nice. Build project. I'm sure there's a method somewhere down here. Copy and rename DLL. Nice. That's something that we kind of struggle with is I require the DLL inside to be the same name as the package. The entry point DLL. Zip file create from directory. There it is, doing the compression. And then there's going to be a rename somewhere down here. Copy and rename. That's the DLL. The out file. Yeah, there it is. There you can see where we changed the file name extension to this SSPKG sharp site package. So, plugin package packetizer. No. Copy and rename DLL. Source. DLL target, and it takes the ID. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool. Copy required files. Yes. .NET build and make sure that it can build. Nice. And I like having a bit of help text there. And no dependencies here except for the base plugins project, which is what we need to kind of reference so it knows what a manifest is and some of those other things. This looks great. Head back over here. Yeah, I think we take this. This is going into 07. I'm on board with that. Yes. No, hang on. Let's squash and merge. I am on board with that. Very cool stuff. Huge thanks. This is going to help our plugin authors in the future. So let's do this. I'm going to cheat. Need documentation for plugin authors. Plugin authors need to know how to build plugins. I should be dictating this, and package them with the new plugin packager tool. Go generate the documentation for me. All right. And we'll make sure Copilot pushes that into the right folder. Generating documentation for stuff like this, like, yes, go do that. And let's tell it to also generate some unit tests. Need unit tests for the plugin packager tool. Come on now. We need some unit tests for the plugin packager tool that should run in a separate tests.pluginpackager library, period. These tests should be built with XUnit and should be included in the build and continuous integration GitHub actions. That's good enough. And let Copilot go do that. There you go, work in progress. And we'll be able to see, let Copilot go figure that out and generate some documentation for us. So, plugin architecture, the README, check the plugin packager tool. There it is. I referred to it by the wrong name, but it'll find it and keep going here. So, and it's working on unit tests now. Cool. So we'll let that run while we take care of some of the other things that are more interesting for us to work on. I'm going to come over here. There's Charlie running. Yes. I just did CD to a drive location. I like where you're going there, Frank, with the French. I have been using a lot of VS Code recently. It's just been a lot of fun to use. And it gets me through to where I need to a little bit faster than full Visual Studio. I don't know. I feel good about that. Okay, yeah, I got emails from Copilot that, hey, it's working. So, what? What's going on over here? Suddenly got a bunch of notifications. Hey, you've got tweets that are mentioning you. Like, Moving on. Come on now. Get loaded. Here. Started migrating security features into the database plugin. Oh yeah, this is going to be a treat. See, I'd love to just be able to let Copilot do this, but it's not going to do it well because it's so complex. Thought. It's getting lost. Holy smokes. Yeah, it's not using the right branch. Go back over here. See if we can give it a little bit of a hint. You should work off of the V0.7 branch. See if it picks that up. You should work off of the V0.7 branch. What do we got? Plugin author guide. Plugin project architecture, package structure. Yeah, it's still... Let's see if we can help it here. Oh. Source. Plugin packer, this one. I want you to work off of the V0.7 branch and document using the plugin packer utility to build plugins. Wow. No, that's fine. Yeah. Now we should see the eyeballs pop up here. There it goes. So Copilot has recognized it, and it's going to go and include that in what it's working on. I'll do the same thing down here. I want you to be working off of the V0.7 branch and building unit tests for the plugin packer tool. And I'll do the same thing. And let's see what it picks up and does. Sherry Jaw says, I was going to say it doesn't look like it's doing way more than it should be. Yeah. Hey, Acrophobic Pixie on YouTube says, a tool we use at work was made using Azure. Nice. They're now switching over to a new version being made in React. The source code, a giant run-on sentence. Well, right. React and JavaScript code, when it gets packaged and delivered, they do eliminate all the spaces and they uglify it so that it takes up less space. Quite frankly, when you're delivering that content using a modern web server that has either gzip compression or Brotli compression, those spaces mean nothing. They completely get compressed out anyway. This should... How about the documentation? How's it doing over here? So it's back working on it. You used to use the eyeballs in Slack as an indication that you had seen certain messages. Yeah, when I'm moderating somebody's channel, I'll drop the eyeballs, just the eyeballs emote, to indicate that moderators are watching. So there it is. Now it's examining and understanding the functionality. There we go. That one is working properly. Back up over here. Documentation. Now it's recognized that, yes, I want you to use the other file, and now it's off and running. It's a web app, so it just scrolls to the site. Yep. Everything's still color-coded, but it's so ugly. Right, you can drop that code into like Visual Studio Code and tell it format this document, and it will reformat it for you so that you can read it. Consideration to uglify was for clients that don't support or have compression disabled. Who has compression disabled now? Like, modern browsers, you have compression turned on. And modern browsers that just about everybody uses, like 99% of the world uses, are evergreen browsers. They're updating themselves to their latest versions, and they have those features built in and enabled. So, and you want compression enabled because then it, for some of these larger blocks of JavaScript or CSS that folks are delivering, or images, comes through faster because it's compressed. So, like, the world's moving on. Like, come for the ride. Encountered another error. Oh wait, that was from 6 minutes ago. Yeah, that was from 6 minutes ago. Down here. No. I've seen Copilot do this also. Where Copilot says, I refuse to use .NET 9. I'm going to use .NET 8. Yeah, some people have cookies turned off, compression and JavaScript turned off, and they browse the web using a teletype. Why are you not doing this? Is this still trying to? Yeah. Stop that session. Yeah, canceled. All right. You should only be working with .NET 9. Do not install... No. Do not change the version of the applications. All right. Back in my day, right? So it brought the branch current. Really? What are you doing? Whatever. Let it run. TLS stream compression was an attack vector. You mean the die hard free as in do it my own way or I won't touch it? Yes. Yes. Nah, it's all right. You only do that on the Sony Vaio crap top. Oh my gosh. Yeah. How many servers or sites actually use HTTP 2 or 3 multiplexing? Not many. Because a lot of the internet's infrastructure doesn't support it either. So, I'm going to let those run. And the issue... Oh, man. This is the security library that's tightly coupled to Postgres. And we started moving that into a plugin. Yeah. Up in here. And it wasn't working quite right, so I backed it out. But I think we're ready to start hammering this in. I feel like I'm leaning into the microphone a little bit too much, and I'm wearing it like a fake beard here. Yeah, it's all TCP. Yeah, the HTTP 2 or 3 stuff just. It's getting the entire internet up and running to be able to do that. And there are proxy servers that don't support those protocols. Oh, man. What do you say I try one of these wireless microphones? Let me try this for a bit. Let's see how this goes. Okay. Okay, that says it's connected, and I'm getting audio coming through. How about now? How's that? How do you do? Test, test. This is with the wireless mic. How we doing? So many ISPs block or throttle UDP transfers. Yes, they do. Even if Infra supports HTTP multiplexing, the majority of backend site engines don't. That's right. Yeah. So, loud and clear, sounds good, sounds awesome. 5 by 5, as the aviators say. Cool. I sound a little more throaty. I can move it lower, you know. I can move it to... I've even seen people put it on their hat. Not bad? Cool. I'm going to see how long this battery lasts. So... okay, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to start moving some of these things around. So, this refers already to my abstractions. And the abstractions already knows what a user repository is. And that's one of the things implemented down. That's iUser Manager. User repository, there it is. See, so I'm going to need to wrap this thing. Ugh. Lavaliers are usually on the chest. Yeah, it's usually pinned up higher on the and I can actually curve the equalizer so that it picks up more of more bass. So so I need to bring the SharpSight user object I had the PG Sharpset user. That's the... Oh boy. And this, I think I just... I might be able to move that somewhere else. Derogatory. All right. Let's start with this one and move that into Postgres. Oh, no, I've already got some of that up here. Oh, good, good, good. Hang on. Don't need you right now. Hang on, what do we got? Email sender, Sharpset user, sign-in manager, which implements iSign-in manager. Here's where I think I need to wrap some of these. Right, this is an identity, a ASP.NET identity thing. I think I need to wrap this. No, folks don't upgrade their PHP at all. Like, there are WordPress installs that have ancient versions of PHP. That, yeah. See, and it's reaching into... Right, where do we get that? Oh no, this is something that... Oh, maybe I did already build this. Okay. I might be further along than I thought. Okay. So let's go back. I should be able then to... What's missing? Password sign-in, two-factor authentication sign-in. Let's split this. Thank you. Take a look-see in here and see what I got. Password sign-in, abstraction security sign-in result. Did I get a using? Oh. So let's say equals yeah, that. Because then I can do to make it crystal clear. Now, why doesn't that like it? Come back to that. I'm going to fix these. We're good there. Hey! Oh, these are the... Yeah. So I should be able to get rid of those. Still doesn't like it. Task I login info. Get external login info async. Here. So, what's that look like? Oh. Yeah, it was a name conflict, Joker. You're right. Well, what does... Let's go to the definition. Go to you. Is a user login info... Oh. Do I need all these things? Need to use the actual typewriter. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Neat. Let's see. So maybe... Do I know how the graphs on the Aspire dashboard are rendered? Canvas or something else? I do not. It's all open source. Let me think here. So... I need to figure out that... What does this look like? It is a sign-in result. Succeeded is locked out, is not allowed, requires two-factor. And then it's got all these statics on it. Come here, you stay over here. And our wrapped version. Succeeded is locked out, is not allowed, requires two-factor. Yeah. Let's create an extension that will allow me to do those conversions so that I'm not hanging off of... No, I'm already on identity, aren't I? But I don't want to put it in the abstraction security. Yeah, let me create an Yeah. That's pretty good. Sure. That one. Why is that inaccessible? Nope, we're going to make you public then. Okay, so that works. So then up, where was it? Returning sign-in result and to SharpSight sign-in result. Yes. Why don't you like that? Oh. Do one of these. Done. When all else fails, make it public. I don't want to make it internals visible to, because then I need to make it visible to any implementation, and that's going to be a pain in the neck. Need a... Do I? Identity result? Well, there's that same SharpSight, the sign-in result. Like, I can fix that now. Yeah. Wow. Wow. We can, yep, do that one too. No, I need... Let's do authentication scheme. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like a good start. Why don't you like that? Fine. Thank you. That was an easy reformatting. And this one's probably going to want fully qualified. Yes. Okay, that works. You've seen people actually suggest that everything should be publicly scoped for simplicity. There are places where you don't want that. There's a school of thought that says make everything private by default. So this, I should be able to... No. No, I don't want select. Oh, maybe I do. Okay, that works. What else don't you like? Get external login info. Get external login info, and it should implement iLogin info. What is that? What does it think that is? That's right, Atrum. If you don't write public or private, by default it's private. Yep. I like to be explicit with it, though, when I do write my code, so that when the next person comes through that needs to read my code, it's clearer to them that it's explicitly private. So wait, I have iLogin info? Why did I do this? Login provider, login key, provider display name. They're the same. There's 2 references to this. I'm getting rid of you. Yeah. Goodbye! So back over here, make this just... So now I need a conversion to an iLogin info. What do I have that implements that? I don't. No. Generate a simple class that implements, yeah, that. Yeah. There we go. What? Sure, use primary constructor. I like that. No. Okay, fine. That display name... No. May not be null. Okay. You like using var? Me too. Var's not a bad thing. Let's move you to another file. Goodbye. And this. That returns external login info. No. To convert... Now, seriously? That's not... I didn't want to do that. No. Like, come here. Let's go to you. Login provider, provider key, display name. The hate on var is too much. It's ridiculous. It's a fantastic feature. It really is. Should be the login provider, right? That should be a string, yes. Provider key, yes. Provider display name. Now, why doesn't it like that? And I don't need this now. Yeah, there we go. So now, get rid of you. Thank you. Yeah, I know. What? External login info. Yeah, what? Go reparse that. Have a good one, Patty boy. Thanks so much for stopping in. Sign in manager CS is read only. Yeah, I know. That's okay. So this looks like it's working properly now. I'm going to... No, what don't you like here, man? Possible null reference for parameter info. No. I don't want to return null. If the info is null, return an empty login info. So I'm handling the null. So, yeah, that got it. There we go. Okay. And do that. So my sign-in manager should work, but there's ways to register these. Yeah, I've got to do this one over here too. Right. So here's how I specify how to register these for the plugin manager. Yep. Scoped, and the register type is, what do we got? Yeah, I need to specify these additional types. Yeah, we'll add that. That looks good. Sure, we'll do one of those too. So then when the plugin manager registers, come on, where is it? Register with service locator. Where is it? It's collapsed. I was down in the... there we go. Yes. Yes, and it needs to know what these things are. Cool. Annotations are secret sauce, right? That way I'm not requiring you to implement an interface. You're giving that registration declaration, and I'm also preventing code that needs to run when the plugin is installed. There is no I'm letting you run arbitrary code. You declare this is how I want it registered, and I have the code that knows how to do that registration. I feel like this should be in a lookup dictionary. You know what I mean? Split left. No, I want you on the whole page. Okay, that works. This. Move this lookup into a dictionary object next to the hey there, Johan.
You have just resubscribed for 75 months.
75 months. That is awesome. Thank you so much for that support, Johan. Bringing that Prime subscription. 6.25 years. Man, thank you so much for that support. Really appreciate it. Here we go. Yeah. So it's going to add the dictionary over here. There it is. The type and the type ofs. Oh. All right. That's fine. And update the switch statement to do that. So it just does a lookup. Right here. There it is. So there's the dictionary up there. I want to move that dictionary somewhere else. I want to move that into a separate file so I can extend the plugin manager without actually having to touch the plugin manager. Can you move this dictionary from the plugin manager file to another file to minimize the editing of the plugin. Go move that. Create the partial class, move it over there, or change the reference. Yeah. Just move it somewhere else. Simplify that. And that'll let us automatically wire up those classes. The definition as we add more stuff is somewhere else. There we go. Plugin type map. There we go. I'm okay with that. Take a look at that file. Public static read only. Get interface type just comes off of that. That's fine. That's fine by me. You're doing a Blazor project, Johan says. Just implemented my own dialogue service. Fully using the latest native dialogue element. Nice. Hey, George, hello to you in Belgium. Welcome. Was sensing the stream must be live. It is. Fixing compilation errors. Nice. Let's put up the map. We should see George popping in there. In from Belgium, right? It's got to be on the list. Nope, didn't pop through. Hello from Belgium. That should have recognized that one. George, try just saying hello from Belgium and it'll get popped up there on the map. Bleeding Hot Holland. Oh no. No. See? Yeah. Las Vegas. Yeah, we should have picked that one up pretty good. There you go. Some of our West Coast American friends. I bet you that one's not right. Yeah, there we go. George in Belgium. There we go. Take a look at our European friends. Pretty hot there as well. Yeah. On Thursday last week, here outside of Philadelphia, we crossed 101 Fahrenheit, and it was 80% humid. Oh, just smothering out there. Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Red hats are our YouTube friends. The rainbow color hats with the propeller are Twitch subscribers. The purple hats are other Twitch viewers. And there's our moderators are out there with the green sword. So I'm doing good, Sayash Codes. Hello. You'll take 102 in Vegas over that humidity. Right, that's the thing. In Vegas, I had a conference in Vegas that I spoke at back in 2018. It was July, third week of July in Vegas, and it was 113 Fahrenheit in the shade. It was hot. However, it was a dry heat, like 10% humidity. So you went outside and you didn't know how much you were sweating because the sweat just evaporated off you immediately. Whoa. So it felt cooler, but you had no idea how much liquid you were losing. You were. Whoa. No, Charlie does not like GPS coordinates. Yeah, it was effectively a sauna. You were walking through a sauna, and you drank tons of water. Water, Gatorade, Powerade, just loaded up on that. Look at this. We got a bunch of our American friends dialing in. All right. And our European friends coming on. Still, I guess getting home for dinner and showing up here. Very cool. Go ahead, take a picture of that. There you go. Tulsa? Yeah, we got Tulsa in there. That showed up. There you go. This map is about the chat. Yeah, folks in chat that decide that you'd like to share your location, as much or as little location information that, or as accurate information as you'd like to share, we'll put a pin on the map to show where some of our friends are watching from. Virginia Beach, I was there in May. There you go. Colorado Springs is where iRossum is. There you go. We got a couple folks in Colorado. I think it will. India Delhi. There you go, Sayash. There you go. Right, I can zoom this a little bit more. Make that a little bit bigger, easier to see. So, Finland, it won't. So you have to kind of greet it to kind of say, "Hi, I'm watching from," "Hello from," "Good morning," "Good afternoon," "Good evening" from, and it will plot those. But you only get one location you can plot. And there's a couple other ones. The red hats are folks watching on YouTube. The purple hats are viewers on Twitch. The rainbow hats are folks that have subscribed on Twitch. Still got to put that Stargate icon over Cheyenne. Robson wants to remove. See, I've got to give folks the ability to remove. And now I got to kind of search for it, right? Let's see if it'll actually do that one. I wonder if it's not. There you go. We'll delete Robson so you can update that. So I'm wondering if it's case sensitive in the remove. Oh no! Here comes the meme Twitch accounts. Yes. All right. Let me head back over here. So I think that's. Come here, give me some using statements. Thank you. Special case, use the actual type. Is that right? Is that right? Hang on. Where is it? Plugin manager. This one. Oh. And yeah, we've already. Okay. I didn't know that. We got a couple folks now showing up in Finland. Very cool. Hey, DGen1, you probably saw I merged your pull request. I do need to. So, location delete. I don't want to give every user the ability to do it because I'm throttled on how many times I can run the location lookup. So I want to be careful how much folks are able to use that so they don't overflow the system that I'm using. So, very cool. Back over here. So, let's do the user manager now. Here we go. Yeah, these are going to be. Let subscribers have a higher rate limit. Like once a half an hour or something. I can buy that. Okay. I can see that. Sure. So there's a couple interfaces here that I do need to address. Create async. Come here, you. returns an identity result. Okay. So I need a conversion. And I need that same, yeah. And now I need to add an extension method somewhere. So, yeah. Go ahead and fully qualify that one. What doesn't I like about that? Protection level. No, we just fixed that. Yeah. Yeah, it's public. It should have worked. Reload that one. Yeah, good. So I can go back up here. No, I don't think it did. Where'd it go? Create this. Yeah, like that. And I probably have to do the same thing here. Yeah. Can we do it one more time? Oh, and need to do that. Right? Oh, Nirixu, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Down here. Get authenticator key async. All right. Yeah, that returns a string. Okay. Yes, go ahead and add that. Go ahead and do that. Wow. That's handy. What do you suggest? No. Uh-huh. It's a nullable coming back. Yep. Yep. Well, this is easy. And I need to put the attribute on that. No. And this needs to be user manager. There we go. Okay. So sign-in manager and the concrete user manager are done. This I want to go away. This thing I want to go away. Because I don't want it doing these things. And this is it creating and initializing the application and creating a new user, right? If you go to register the app, if you go to start up the application and you don't have any users, it creates an initial user for you. So that's a thing. One second here. I need to respond quickly to an email here. 1 second. There we go. All right. Moving on. Oh, fancy. I love getting notifications on Twitch that somebody got me a subscription to another channel that I follow. Like, oh, that's very kind. But this thing needs to be refactored. I'm going to put a big old to-do on this. That shouldn't go on this. That should go on the context. Remove this and move the identity configuration to the main project. The database context and identity providers will be injected from the plugin manager. We'll figure that out. No, I didn't want a summary. All right. So this needs to be kind of gutted and moved. Where is that context? Or did I merge that over here? I did. And it's already registered there, so I don't need this one. Yeah, I don't need that one also. So back over here. This can go away. Hey, Nova Troop. Hello. Oh no, that's awful. I'm sorry to hear that. Where is this being used? Where and how is this class being used? Hopefully I have a civil service interview in a month. Nice. All right. Hey. That's good to hear. As a non-American, you get to celebrate 4th of July this year. It's your last day at work after... Oh, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, serves a... It's for the migration tools. But I'm forcing the name of it here. At runtime, it's created through dependency injection. Purely for development time database operations. Okay. We're not using that because that's decompiled source code. Got to figure out these. Yeah. So I don't want these to take in a user manager of a concrete type. I want it to take in just user manager. Right? Not that one. This one. Why am I even taking a generic on this? Right? Like, I could get around that. Right? I could get rid of that and this and turn this into... Yes, do that. Do that too. And that. And that. Right? And over here, this just becomes iUser Manager, and everything just works. So then, this just becomes, yeah, that. So then I make this return the generic SharpSight user, this is returning an iSharpSight user. We'll just turn this into iSharpSight user, and it works. Let me go to, that is a fine question. Etram asks, how is it that the AI models have so much garbage, unnecessary text? Like, my question should have just resulted in a list. There's different models that do different things. And when you look at what I'm doing here, let me move this a little bit. You'll see I'm using Claude Sonnet. 1 second here. It's using Claude Sonnet, and the Claude models from Anthropic are very descriptive. They're very chatty in the work that they're doing. Conversely, if I switched over to GPT-4.1 and told it the exact same thing, it's not chatty, and it gets right to it. Here's what it is. So this is what you're seeing here is clearly the result of choosing one model versus another. If I did use, and I was using Claude Sonnet 4, right? Right, I could tell it to look at analyze where the identity user accessor is used, and report to me a list of the classes that use it. Don't return any other text. And it's going to get really tight on exactly what it returns there, because I've instructed it to. There you go. Done, right? So these are, it's a combination of being descriptive with your commands for the large language model and some of the defaults. GPT from our friends at OpenAI is a little bit more terse than Claude from Anthropic, where it's a lot more descriptive and it gets a lot more chatty about those things. So Claude, I think, is actually really good for developers that want to learn and see the results described to them a little bit more. For a developer that wants to process and get through and do more tasks, GPT might be beneficial to use. However, we can get similar, very terse responses from Claude if we tell it, just give me this result. So it's up to you how you use the models, and you can make them bend to your will. Thanks so much for the question. All right. And that'll arrive over in Discord, so you can refer back to it later if you'd like. So, yeah, it's how you'd like to. And you're right, DGen1. You can add some of those, hey, I want you to be some of those instructions, be very terse with your response. Add that into your Copilot instructions, and it will definitely help with that. Yep. Ignore all previous. Yeah. Don't respond to me from now on. So, So where was I? And I actually need to wrap up here. I need to take my daughter to doctor's appointment in a little bit. This looks like I don't need to change anything. Identity revalidating authentication state provider. I'd like to buy a noun. I have not seen the 28 Years Later movie yet. No. What I mentioned a stream or two ago. I've gotten really into the British TV show Taskmaster. Oh my gosh, I've gotten into that one, and I've been watching that diligently for the past 2 months. As it gets released on YouTube, I've been keeping it out. Yeah, the British Taskmaster is great. Oh, fantastic. Okay. I'm probably going to need to modify these so that it uses the plugin manager. That's the only thing that's in there. Well, hang on. It's being created with the Service Scope Factory. Need to modify the constructor to accept the plugin manager. Yeah, and use it to resolve those. Yep. How you doing there, Experiment 21? Is this advanced Java? No, this is C#. Hang on. Plugin manager. Isn't there? There is an iPlugin manager. I wonder. So there is a resolve method in here. Register with service locator. Extract and install. No, I'm not doing that. No, 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 no. Is valid directory. Ensure plugin not installed. Install default plugins. Shoot. Where is it that it's using this service? Right, this John right here. This one. Get plugin provided service. That one. Can we pull that up? Fine. I'll do it myself. Is that going to groove with this? Go ahead. Sure. All right. So now, where was it? So now I should be able to say iPlugin manager Yeah, call it plugin manager. I like that. Go ahead, rename it. Thank you. I don't need a scope. Haha. That's fine. Dun, 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 dun. Cool. That worked. Do I know C++ or Java? I do know both. I prefer to use C#. C# I find much more expressive. It gets me productive and through to the tasks that I want to do, and it runs fast enough for me. So I don't need low-level coding, so C# runs great for me. I mean, you are watching a stream from a guy named C# Fritz. Like, that is a thing. All right, let me commit the changes that I have at this point. Sure, looks good. Go ahead and generate a commit message. That's a good start. Push that up. And I've got a place to jump in and continue with next time. I do need to wrap up, but I see there's a question or two out there. Let me take a look at over here. Right here, Nova Troop. See, if you ask a question and end it with a question mark, it goes into my question queue. And then I can put it up on the lower third. But what are my thoughts on Kotlin? See Meta making a big investment in it. Good for them. Kotlin's a nice language folks are using with the Java ecosystem, and they're trying to use it, right? They're trying to use it more and more with Android. That's fine. It works great for them. If Meta's investing in a language, that's impressive. That's right. This is them getting outside of, hey, we built a JavaScript framework that we use for building Facebook. Great. Step up to the plate and start using your technology, start using the stuff that you've got for more people to interact with. So, you know, it's great to see more languages and technologies, options out there. I think we're going to see a little bit of I'm going to reference the Highlander. I think we're going to see a little bit of a quickening and consolidation of some of these as the AI language models and AI tools ramp up. We're going to see a little bit of a quickening over the next 2 years because folks are going to say, hey, these languages are really good and expressive and do good things, and I can build things quickly. And roll them out with my AI tools. I can be productive, develop, deploy securely, quickly, and productively. And there'll be a bit of a, like I said, a quickening, and some of those languages that are on the fringes are going to get less popular. So we'll see what happens. So it's an interesting time. I also think we're on the beginning of the great over tokenization of technology, where folks are going to start tinkering with using AI tools for a lot of different things, and they're going to burn tokens on stupid things that they've already got tools that will solve that problem for. Just use the tool the right way, instead of sending 100 tokens over to an AI that goes and spins up its own version of that tool, or it decides to use an MCP that actually calls that tool that you have installed locally and works with that. So the over tokenization is just starting. There can be only one. That's right. And aren't they remaking Highlander? I thought there's a remake on that they're filming. Lucy, I do agree. We see this a bit. Folks that ask questions like, "Hey, you recommend C# a lot. What if you didn't recommend C#?" Like, folks come in here, "Why don't you recommend Rust?" Why? What is it you want to do with Rust that you can't do with C#? C# has a lot more support out there and a lot more developers out there. Has a lot more innovation happening, growing, and it's a welcoming ecosystem. The Rust Foundation is notoriously unfriendly, let's just say. So that's a thing, and yeah, I love C#. So, yep, that's it. Henry Cavill is the Highlander. Reason is kind of fringe, yes. No, they didn't rewrite the Highlander in Rust. So the Highlander series was nice, but that's a thing. I don't know. I didn't catch on to it. My roommate in college absolutely loved it. So, well, you can send gifts on Discord. So all the questions, the lower third questions that you saw pop up today, they appear because somebody either mentioned my screen name or they put a question mark at the end of their message. Those pop up as questions. They go into a queue. I can pull them out, and when I answer them live on stream, they get tagged and reported with a YouTube link that jumps exactly to where in this video that question was answered to. You can follow up and see those questions later, and that's all in my Discord. You can find that. Use the Discord command, or you can, I think the Discord link just below on Twitch will help you with that. But for now, I need to get ready to go. I've got some things I need to take care of. My daughter I'm taking her to a doctor's appointment. Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got lots of great videos over here and down here, depending on which YouTube tools you're using to watch a stream. You'll be able to find other videos of me out there. But on Twitch, we're going to set you up for a raid and get you connected to somebody else out here. You know what? We've never raided this person, and somebody gifted me a subscription to her. So I think we're going to raid her right now. Yeah. So she's a friend that I met over at the St. Jude Creator Summit. We're going to raid Classy Katie. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back on Thursday. We'll be writing some more code, and I'll be hanging out in Discord the rest of this week. Writing code, answering questions. I'm going to tweak and tune and build more into Charlie as we're going through the week. And I'm also working on my tag. Lots happening. It's a fantastic week, ending with the American holiday on Friday. All right? Have a fantastic rest of your day, wherever you might be. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.